What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Actors Daily Bread, episode 142. 142. And yeah, we're about to talk about agent attraction, so stay tuned. Oh man, this is Actors Daily Bread, and this is where I teach you how to crush your auditions, book more work, and live a life that you love. I'm Christine Horn, professional working actress of 20 plus years and a life and career coach for actors just like you. What I want to make sure of right now is that this video is actually on the Hollywood Bound Actors page. What's up, Tarnisha? Maybe you can help me. Can someone share this to Hollywood Bound Actors, because I'm having some technical difficulties. I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that. So I'm going to make Tarnisha do it since she was the first one and she's hype. Whoop, whoop. Yes, yes, I put y'all to work. I have my phone, but sometimes it acts funny. So let me know when that is shared in the group in Hollywood Bound Actors, because I really want to make sure that this gets in there tonight. Because the last few times I went live just from there, but this is everywhere. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for hopping on. So today I'm talking about agent attraction. Okay, I see it's in Hollywood Bound. Okay, bam. It says that it's in Hollywood Bound. Okay, this little app I've been paying for has been kind of sketchy. So what's on is as you guys hop on, say hello. I know it's been a minute. I've been doing some private videos here and there. Thank you, Tarnisha. I appreciate you so much. But happy hump day. Hey, it's Wednesday. I really don't know what day it is most times, what time zone I'm in. Just got back from Atlanta from a funeral on Sunday. Got to see family and friends, which was awesome. And before I even get into today's content, I do want to talk about agent attraction and talk about some things that are coming up for us in the Hollywood Bound Actors Facebook group. If you are watching this and you're like, what are you talking about, Hollywood Bound Actors? Just put Hollywood Bound Actors at the top and you will find us. We're an awesome community of actors from around the world who are trying to just get our Hollywood Bound on, like just live life and be actors and be amazing and support each other. The environment is so supportive and so non-spammy, non-haterish. And, that brings me to really wanting to take a moment to shout out Teresa Hightower, who has made her ascension. She was a Hollywood Bound Actor member, an amazing talent, a wonderful singer, actress. She was a loyal replay watcher. To all my replay watchers who will watch this later, what's up? I love you guys. But she was a loyal replay watcher, and I'm friends with her son, Tony Hightower, another amazing talent. And I would be remiss if I did not shout her beautiful self out and just praying for blessings in her new journey, in her new chapter, and sending all my love and strength to her son and her mom and to the whole family. And just for those of you who are in the Hollywood Bound Actors group, no pressure at all, but I did share a GoFundMe page if you feel so moved, so inclined, if you knew her, if you just want to support, that's there. So I wanted to make sure I just sent that good love out. I mean, yeah, we all know this life, it's just, I'm just grateful to be here with you right now and to be able to give and share from my heart, because I feel like when I ascend to my next level, I pray that I leave and have left an amazing imprint on your heart in the time that we've spent together. And so I want to just talk, you guys. Hey, Samantha, thanks for hopping on. Don't be shy as you hop on. Feel free to leave a comment. I do want to talk a bit about agent attraction. And I'm bringing this up because this is the time of year where it's kind of a good time to start looking for representation, if that is something that is a goal for you. We're still in episodic season, so like right now, it's still not the best time. However, it is a good time to start doing the research and the prep so that you can fully go ham in November or the end of this month. And every second and fourth Monday, I do an open office hours in the Hollywood Bound Actors Facebook group and also in my Booking Magnet Academy. And a question came up from Kim Byrne, shout out to Kim, and she asked, how do you narrow down a target agent list? I would love to get more personal and connected when submitting to agents, but there are so freaking many. How do I just pick a couple that are right for me? And I love this question, and it really is right in alignment with what I have coming up. before I say something wrong, let me look at the dates. For those of you who are in search of a new representation, or for your first set of representation, I am teaching a class called the Agent Attraction Method. Shocker. It's been requested by many of you. So those dates are October 27th and November 3rd. Can someone put those in the comments? I'm just so off the cuff right now because I haven't even made the registration page, but I talked loosely about it a couple days ago and people were asking me, and I've honestly just been busy. But those are going to be the dates. Those are 2 Saturdays. It's going to be in the morning, 2 hours each. So 4.5. I'm saying 4 hours, but anyone who's ever seen me talk, y'all already know. Tarnisha, you already know. Is going to go over 4 hours. However, that is the goal. You know, under deliver over, how's it go? Under deliver over under promise over deliver, however that goes. Let me turn my ring off. Okay. So that's what's coming up. But I do want to talk a bit about it. And, you know, I think I'm going to touch on a couple of things tonight. I'm going to touch on Kim's question. And if there are any other agent questions coming up, I will touch on lightly. And then I also want to talk about still maintaining the relationships that you already have, for those of you who are not looking for new rep, but who want to maintain the relationship and maybe even step it up a notch. So for me, yes, there are tons of agents. And I think the first step in your process when you're deciding to look for an agent, no matter what market you're in, whether you're in the Southeast, whether you're in New York, LA, Chicago, is figuring out, the first step is honestly figuring out what shows you want to be on. And this is stuff I teach in depth, but I'm just going to give you a sneak peek. What shows you would like to be on? So you watch TV because you study television, as you should, right? We're not just watching TV as spectators, right? We're watching as students, we're watching as investigators. Hey, Jim Hammond, thanks for hopping on. So we're watching not as just spectators, but we're watching as students. So if we see a show like, man, they always have a lot of guest stars, they have a lot of co-stars, really juicy scripts, really juicy roles, I would love to be on the show. Then we say, okay, well, who's casting that show, right? That's the next thing. Okay, we find out who's casting it. Then from there, when we see who's casting it, then we see who has been on these shows. And then you start doing research on the actors who have been in these shows and who their representation is. And so if they happen to be in your market, then that is how you then branch out and try to decide who you're going to reach out to. Another thing to look out for, and this is kind of a bonus, and again, I'm going to go into this deeper in the class, is you don't want to be, I'll use Atlanta for an example, because I know I got a lot of Atlanta people in the HBA group. Atlanta is, let's keep it real. Atlanta is saturated with Black women, okay? I would say Black women over Black men, but there's plenty of them too. So what makes you special? Like, what is it that you bring? Because it's not as simple as saying, it used to be as simple back in the day of like, oh, I'm not going to try to get with an agent that has too many people who look like me. Well, in Atlanta, that's not going to work because there's tons of beautiful Black women just like you, all sizes, tall, short, skinny, fat, like there's so many. So it goes deeper. It goes to a deeper level of not just what you look like on the outside, but also what you bring, what your essence is. And I do a lot of teaching about this in many of our other trainings. What's up, Brian? Thank you, Tarnisha. Tarnisha has put the dates for my Agent Attraction Method class in the comments. You can't even sign up yet because I ain't made the page yet, but I'm trying to give you a heads up on when the dates will be. What's up, Sheena? So that's the other thing too, not getting so caught up. I don't know, I got this pen like I'm about to be writing. I don't know why I'm gonna put the pen down. I think I'm not even gonna go there. I had an audition earlier where I was like all with my pen, and so I haven't detached from her yet, clearly. So I'm laughing at myself. Oh, y'all know I crack myself up. Okay. Thank you, Sheena. So it's not just about the physical body. It's not just, oh, I have red hair or I have Black hair or I'm dark skinned and they have a bunch of dark skinned women. It is also about your essence and what kind of roles you can actually do, what your sweet spot is. Like Tarnisha, I told Tarnisha she is, after I met her in person, I said she's kind of the va-va-voom. She could be the vixen, the sexy woman. Yeah, she could be the mom, but she got a lot going on and her essence gives this kind of sweet thing off the rip, but then it has a layer of secrecy and mystery, versus Brian, you know, who comes across as, you know, sweet and humble, but you can tell there's a dark side if he allows himself to go there, you know. So just because you may look similar to someone, that's not enough. Like that may be the surface level, but once they see your demo reel or see some footage that you've done, or they've come to a show that you've done, if you do any theater, that's how they get to see, oh, this person could be a good addition to our roster. And so when you're researching agents and researching the talent that's with the agent, don't get solely caught up on just the look. That is one way to glance at it, especially in cities like Los Angeles and New York, where there are literally hundreds of agents. And so to answer Kim Burns' question, who asked earlier about how do you narrow down an agent list, a target agent list, is you truly, honey, you got to just pick some. You got to pick some and then go with it. And just know that the processes that you have learned to reach out, the stuff that I teach, the stuff that you learn from other coaches, all you need to do is rinse and repeat that. So in your first rounds, you may actually land a meeting or several and actually sign with some, or nothing may happen. And then you just rinse and repeat that whole process over and over again until you find the right fit for you. A lot of times, again, I tell you guys, it's not always no. No doesn't mean no. No means not now. No means, hey, we've got someone who already fits your category, you know, and just hold on to that. And everything is not a good fit for you at the time. And every agent's not a good fit. And don't get caught up also on name brands, right? I know when I first moved to LA, not this go round, the first time, for those of you who are new to me, I moved to LA back in 2010, and I was not ready. I thought I was, because I had Broadway credits and all that stuff, and I wasn't ready. And I remember hearing about some agents that were very popular and big and shiny, and I didn't get with any of them, but I remember some friends did, and they got dropped very shortly after. Like, that agency did not give them room to grow. They didn't give them room to have, 4 or 6 months of auditions with no bookings, and say, well, you know what, we like this person, we trust them, we think they have a potential, we're gonna just hang with them. They didn't give them that time, and so they were dropped quickly. And so you'll find, especially in LA and New York, not so much in the Southeast. I think the Southeast agents are much more patient. Though some in the Southeast are dropping people who are not local, truly local. I've heard that going around. Just saying, if you are a non-local pretending to be local, I hear there are some letters being sent saying we're focusing on our local actors now, so we gotta let you go. So that is happening. But the shiny agents, can give you that anxiety of, oh my God, if I don't book, I'm gonna get dropped. Oh my God, I'm gonna get dropped. Oh my God, I'm gonna get dropped. And guess what? I talk a lot about law of attraction. That's why I have this course coming up called Agent Attraction. If you're constantly putting out energy, oh my God, I'm going to get dropped. I'm going to get dropped. Oh, like, if I don't book this, I'm going to get dropped. I'm going to get dropped. I'm going to get dropped. So guess what? You go to that audition thinking, oh my God, if I don't book this, I'm going to get dropped. And guess what? You're probably not going to book it because you're going to get dropped, right? So that's the stuff you keep bringing to you. Like, I want each and every one of you who have representation or who are in search of representation, being with an agent who sees you. And even if your resume is slim, they see something in you that can grow. If they see that you're hustling, if you're like Brian, they see that you're doing your marketing, you're putting out your videos like Brian does, right? You're doing your self-tapes like Marilee does, like Trafina does. Like, if they see that, they're not so quick to just throw you to the wayside, because they will see something deeper. And that is why I'm going to segue a bit into maintaining your relationship with your agent. Because listen, if you just sign on the dotted line and be like, cool, I'm good, I got signed, now I'm going to wait. Y'all know how I feel about waiting. That shit don't work. Excuse my language for the children. Right? That doesn't work. The waiting doesn't work. You have to help them help you. You have to do your part. You have to take classes. You have to build your own relationships with casting directors. And then let that be known to your rep. Have a rapport. There's no reason your representation should not hear from you monthly. And that's whether you are booking or not. Whether they've sent you 1 audition or 10, they should be hearing from you in some way every month. And what does that look like? That looks like dropping off a bouquet of flowers, dropping off a gifting a snacks, sending a thank you card to the last rep in your office who sent you an audition, letting your agent know what classes you've just taken, what headshots you just took, what accent you're working on. I don't care. Something so that you stay top of mind. Agents are not in the nonprofit business. They're in there to make money. And so if you are not actively booking, in which we all go through a phase of that, and we go through ebbs and flows of that, there has to be a reason for you to stay in contact. And some of you think just because you're not booking and bringing money in feels like you have nothing to say. You have nothing to share. And I want to let you know that is not true. I remember my old agent in Atlanta, shout out to Houghton Town, who I've been with for 20-something years, right? In Atlanta. Even though I'm not even there presently, I still stay in contact. I remember years ago, before I was even booking television at all, I would just invite them to shows I was in because I did a lot of theater. I'm in this show, I'm in that show, I'm in this show, right? And so even if they couldn't make it out, they got an invitation, they got a comp ticket offered, they knew my name. It wasn't like, so when I call any of my team, I say, hey, it's Christine Horn, how are you? I just assume you know who I am. Why? Because I've shown up over and over and over again in some way. And so even if you're not booking heavily, maintaining that agent relationship is what's going to keep you moving. And the agent-actor relationship is so intimate. And yes, we can talk about managers, but for me in this conversation, I'm kind of, I'm mushing them all together, agent manager at this point. I just believe there needs to be constant communication. Don't be a bugaboo emailing your agent every 2 days talking about, have you submitted me? I heard about this project. Have you submitted me? But more so just understanding and reminding them that you're a team. It's Team Brian. It's Team Sheena. It's Team Trifina. It's Team Jim, right? It's Team Akira. Hey, Akira Greens. Hey, stranger. Hey, Richard. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on. Let me take a look at these comments. If you're just joining, this is Actors Daily Bread, the best freaking YouTube, Facebook show for actors. I'm kind of planting seeds here for some of you have been asking me, and I'm delivering on it, about getting an agent, because we're getting into that time of the year. So the agent attraction method is something that I'm going to be teaching for 2 Saturdays on October 27th and November 3rd, 2 hours each. I don't know the time yet. I don't have the registration page yet. I'm going to work on it this weekend, but just have in your mind, if that's where you are and you would like my guidance, then that is coming. Let me check these comments really quick. Brian says, amen. I've been hearing that ever since I moved to Georgia. They have too many people that look like me, but I keep faith in submitting. Absolutely. Brian, I'm gonna speak to what you just said for just a second. So you've been hearing that too many people who look like you. What can we do to switch some of that up? Because again, looking like you and what you can bring to the table are totally different. So I would challenge you to consider following up with some of the people you've reached out to with something. I don't know if there's some footage that you have, some video footage, another set of pictures. I know you took some great headshots, and I'm talking to Brian just because I know him. I know you took some great headshots, but I know you're not like everyone else. No one is. And I think right now we're dealing on the surface level. So I would consider either A, reaching out to some new people, and this is going to be the time to do it next month, and or seeing something that you have in your arsenal, and not one of your fun videos, no disrespect to them, but you know the ones I'm talking about. Not one of those, but something that really shows off your acting chops, so that you could follow up and say, look, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to consider me. You responded to my submission 2 months ago and told me that you had your roster was full of gentlemen who looked like me, but I wanted to just let you know that though we may be similar in looks, I have something that no one else has. I have this and this and this, and I really tap into this. And I know my essence is this. We talked about that at Hollywood Bound Actors Live. I know my essence is this, and I know I can give off this strength, but right underneath of this is vulnerability that could crack at any moment. And I think that would really be a true asset to your roster. And I would invite you to take a chance on me and to let's do a trial period of 3 months without a contract. and see what happens. Like I challenge you, Brian, to take that a bit further and follow up and not take that as a no. Because again, I don't believe no's are no's. I believe no's are not nows. And I know for sure that we all have something that spews from us and spews from our soul and our spirit. And we can't be fooled by just one 8x10. So I'm not sure which picture you submitted that first go round, but I would challenge you to think back, look at your submissions, look at your whatever you have to recall, and resubmit again and replay this video and type that up in a very respectable way. But I want to push you. Don't give up. Be persistent. It will also show that you know who you are. You know, we talk a lot about, you know, yes, we're actors. Yes, we can play any role, but we all have a sweet spot. We all have a sweet spot that we fit in with no effort, right? We talked about in the Hollywood Bound Actors Live event in August that, you know, Hollywood can put you in, they want to put you in your own little box. And I think when you are tapped into your essence and what you bring as an actor, you get to decide what box you're going to showcase. Doesn't mean you stay in that box. It means like, hey, I'm aware that this box works for me. I'm aware that this box gets me in the room often. So I'm just going to sell this box for a little while. And yes, I'm open and available to do all the other things, but this is a good box. So I'm going to just help you with this, right? So I want you to try that, Brian. And yeah, of course you've come too far. You ain't giving up, please. That's not even a thing. Okay, what else is going on? Hey guys, I have a few more minutes. Starting to get hot. I'll wait for some comments, and while I do that, I will go over some of the other questions that came up in our Q&A. Again, if you see the open Q&As every second and fourth Monday, it's open for you to ask me anything. So you guys don't be shy. You can ask questions. So I'm just going to read I've just printed out some of them from Facebook. Let's see. Maria, artist, says, how soon after booking and or filming a SAG role should you submit for credit on IMDb? So my answer to that is, I mean, I give it about a week. I mean, there's no real rule. Some productions, the production itself they're going to be the slowest to add your credit. That's number one. So for those of you who don't know, you can submit your own credit on IMDb. Like if the show exists already on IMDb and you know what episode you're in, or if it's a movie, you can add a credit to that. And I've been saying I was going to do that, show you guys a screen grab of that. I'll make a note for that because I have a few things I need to add for myself. However, here's my caveat. If the episode that you are in is not listed yet, I personally, this is my own personal choice, I personally like to wait till at least somebody else has added the credit. I don't like to be the ringleader of adding episode 1.9 and having that responsibility. That's just on me. You can do it, but I personally don't. So there's no tried and true answer. You know, if you're waiting for production to do it, it's going to take a while. They're not getting around to it ASAP for you. And also know you can submit yourself a week after you shoot, and just know when production does get around to it, if you're not really in it, or if you're just an extra, not just an extra, let me rephrase. If you're a background actor trying to make your role seem bigger than it is, they'll put that uncredited by that. I have that on one of my credits. It was a movie I shot, did it, but my scene got cut. But I submitted it, and it was there. And then when the film actually got released, their crew, you know, they went back through it and they uncredited it. So that happens. Okay, I don't see any new comments. Hold on, let me make sure it's not. Sometimes this is wonky. Just checking. Sometimes there's a delay in the comments. So I'm just going to keep reading some questions. I know it's a little slow tonight. Again, yes. Let me see if someone else's. I answered Kim's question. Pam says, I'm producing and performing in a dance theatrical show, so I'm super focused on that. How can I stay in action for my TV career goals? And does it serve me to invite industry, including my agents, to the performance since it's me as a dancer? Yes, Pam! Come on now, Pam! Y'all know I get excited. Pam, absolutely. When I moved here back in 2010, I didn't have any representation at all. The Lion King Las Vegas company closed. I literally drove here in my Geo Prism and lived in a duplex sharing an apartment with the lady. Shout out to Debbie, who was my first roommate. We're still friends. And God bless her, because my rent was late all the time. It was like, God bless people who be covering you in that rent. Roxanne is in the house. Yes. So absolutely, anytime you're doing anything outside of TV film, don't feel like it has to be something separate from you. And this is something we've talked about before, especially if you're multi-passionate. It shows that you are a professional. It shows that you are involved in performing, period. And especially like in cities like LA, which Pam, I know you are in. They love, you can get so much coverage from LA Times, Hollywood Reporter, all the local newspapers for your performances. Absolutely invite your rep out to anything that you're doing. Like I said about 15 minutes earlier, back in the day, I would invite my agents to every play I did, and I would offer them a comp, even if they came maybe once out of all the years. But the point was that they knew I was doing something. And so it's natural for us to be multi-passionate and want to keep ourselves sharp. And as long as it doesn't totally interfere with, like, you sound like you're calling your agent and saying, hey, I'm taking 6 months off. Now she's calling me back. Anise, if you're watching this, you're calling me and I'm on live. It's not like you're taking 6 months off, right? This is just something you're doing. And I know you're focused on it, but I don't want you to lose the momentum. This is for all of you. We can be multi-passionate. We can do other things, but don't lose the momentum. And for Pam and those of you who have been following me and doing your marketing with your love notes, don't stop the momentum. I want you to label a piece of paper 1 to 10 or 1 to 12. You have 3 months, October, November, December. You can pre-set up your love notes and things you're going to market with for the next 3 months for once a month. So that shouldn't even have to take away from your theater dancing show. So absolutely, Pam, to answer your question, how can I still stay in action with my TV career goals? Yes, stay in action by making sure you, at least at the minimum, you are doing your love notes. And for those of you who are new to my world, that's just basically your monthly marketing. For me, I believe we're spreading love through the mail and through the Twitterverse and through Facebook. So that's why I call them love notes. So that's what you can do. Hey, Lisa, thanks for joining. I'm going to be on a few more minutes. If you have a question, today we've been talking about agent attraction and talking about the upcoming class on October 27th and November 3rd. We've given a wonderful shout out to our HBA member who has ascended, Teresa Hightower, sending love to her family. Shout out to my friend Tony. And so I've also just been answering questions. So I'm getting ready to wrap. But if you have a comment or question, feel free to ask. I'm just going over some questions that came in through Facebook on Monday. So I am totally available. Use me. Seriously. Some of y'all be wanting to talk to me, but then when we on live, y'all be quiet. That's what I don't understand. And I know my mother, I asked my mother about it, and she said, my mother Valerie, who's also an HBA, she's like, well, Christine, maybe sometimes people are just shy. And I'm like, I'm around a bunch of actors. Ask me something. Ask me something. I know, because I've been kind of MIA. I was in Canada for 2 weeks shooting. Then I came back for shooting. Then I had to go back to Atlanta. I just got back from Atlanta yesterday. What's today? Yesterday. So I'm here. I'm going to read this last question. There's no comments in the thing. No pressure, guys. But I am here for real. For real, for real. And if you're new to Actors Daily Bread, as you can see, this is episode 142. You can totally binge, skip Netflix, just binge on Actors Daily Bread and catch up for all your actor questions. So Maria, go back to Maria's question since she asked. This is a follow-up question for my love notes. So Maria booked a SAG TV show, and she's asking questions about following up with love notes. And she says she sent her first one last week saying, just booked, like just booked the show with a headshot. And she's asking for the second love note. Do I put another headshot and say filming? I wouldn't, Maria. No, I think just booked is great. Like just booked a web series, like, because there's a fine line, as you all know, about, you don't want to say anything really about your gig because things are under non-disclosures. But you can say just booked a new web series, or just booked a Netflix show, or just booked a recurring role on NBC. Like, that's still very vague. That could be anything. But you don't need to say filming. The next love note that is in regards to that SAG role should just be when it airs, in my opinion. That's what I would do. You have plenty of other things to showcase. All right. So, okay, here's a question, I think. Here we go. It's like a little delay. I see you, Denise. I see you, Cherie. Give me 1 second. Let me have a sip. Ooh, that's cold. Denise says, hey, Patterson. She says, hey, coach. Been swamped with the campaign, almost over. Hey, I've been swamped too. All good. I'll take this last question before I wrap. Cherie says, I just got, I'm still in my zone of this character earlier. I haven't let her go. Let's start with the earrings. For those of you who ask how I release characters, it starts with pieces of clothing. The hair will come next. I ain't doing the hair on camera. We ain't doing that. We ain't that comfortable. Let me focus. Okay. Cherie says, hold on. Y'all got me laughing at myself. Okay. Cherie says, I just got signed to an agent in LA. Whoop, whoop. Got signed to a manager in May, not SAG eligible. Everyone keeps telling me how difficult it is to become SAG eligible, but I refuse to let other people put limits on things. Trying to get creative about becoming eligible before pilot season. Any thoughts? Well, first of all, I want to give you a shout out, Cherie, for yes, don't receive other people's experiences. This fly is a fly in here. Don't receive other people's experiences of it. Because, honey, the same people told me it takes that you have to be here a certain amount of years before you book a recurring guest star. You have to be here a certain amount of years before you book a series regular. You have to be certain. No. I was working my 9-to-5 in Atlanta back in 2015, working my 9-to-5. I had a manager in LA who happened to send me an audition for this ABC sitcom, happened to come to LA, tested, booked the series regular role, having not been in LA. So according to LA rules, that should not have happened for me. I don't follow nobody's rules. I'm not a booking magnet because I follow somebody's rules. All you got to keep doing, Cherie, is keep speaking life into you and what your goals are. It may have been someone else's experience that it was hard for them to become SAG eligible, but that's not your truth. That's not yours. I think my advice would be, like, I'm not looking at your resume. I don't know your history. I don't know what you've done. I don't know how many credits or vouchers you are away from it. But, you know, I don't know what you do, but perhaps something to look into from some of the newer actors I've met out here, just from me when I'm shooting, is seeing if you can do any extra work on commercials or on film and television shows. Because what does happen, especially with commercials, you get bumped up, you get upgraded, and that will help, that will severely increase your eligibility status. I never forget, I worked on a movie, and this was in Atlanta. I worked on a movie called 999 with Chiwetel Ejiofor, and there was I was booked as a actor, as a first team, but there was a young man there, very green. He was hired as a background extra, but he ended up being a background extra for a background actor, for like 2 or 3 days, like the same amount of time that I was there doing my scene. And because he was so featured, he didn't know. He just signed up to be an extra. Background actor. I'm working on it, y'all. Work with me. But the end of the 3rd day, I remember I was waiting to sign out, and they called him into the trailer, and they tapped Hartley him because he was so featured. His face was there with the rest of us talking. And in an instant, it changed. So, Cherie, I don't receive none of the history of your friends and people telling you that. I think you have an agent. You have that stuff. You have a good team on board, it sounds like. What I would just incorporate if I were you was doing some extra work when I can. through soap operas, through commercials, and through film and television. And not for the money necessarily if you don't need it, but just to get those vouchers up and get them quickly. That would be my suggestion to you. I hope that helps. Okay. I'm going to take this last question before I take the next last question. Brian says, not sure if you answered this, but would you recommend an agency in your location or another location? Brian, I know you're in the Southeast, so I'm going to just talk to you directly. And Trafina, I see your question. The closest, other than Atlanta, Brian, you may want to look at, you can look at the Carolinas, South North Carolina, and then you can also look at Louisiana. I know a lot of Atlanta actors also have an agent in Louisiana. Not that it's necessary, but just like Atlanta you are not paying rent up in this house. This Splash trying to get his 15 minutes of fame. I think it's all the lights. Oh my gosh. We're getting ready to move. We're moving at the top of the month. Not out of LA, just out of this apartment to a bigger space. So we're having a lot of traffic coming in and out. Sorry. So you can look into that as well, because just like Atlanta, Louisiana will have things that they do as local hires. So just know though, that also requires you to be local. We can't get the local game twisted. Like local means, you putting yourself up, you're driving yourself everywhere you need to be. But Brian, I wouldn't give up just yet on your location. I think it's still new. Keep pushing on that, on Actors Access, on casting networks. Keep building your personal relationships. I haven't talked to you directly about your personal marketing, so I'm not sure what you're doing there. But if every casting director in Atlanta does not know you, they're not getting monthly mail from you, then I wouldn't jump ship just yet, because it starts, you can take those relationships everywhere. Trafina says, hey, Trafina. Trafina's in New York. Broadway! I'm thinking it may be time to switch agents. It seems my auditions are dwindling. I met with a manager, and my agents told me they don't think it's time for a manager. I mentioned spending some time in LA, and again they say it's not time. It's starting to feel like they're not giving me the support I need. Trafina, my first question would be, have you asked them to expound on what it's not time means? Because does that mean your resume is not ready? Well, because it's twofold. You're saying then it's time for a manager. That's one. And then you're saying spending time in LA. That's two. So it's not time, two different things. And again, the manager part, not so much. I think if you find a manager that's willing to work with you, really, there's no difference between the manager and the agent. The manager is a more personal relationship. If you find a manager that is interested in you, that wants to work with you, that has access to Breakdowns Express, which they all should, hell yeah, if you like this situation, do it. Just be prepared that you're giving out 20% now for everything versus 10. So that's one thing. I think if you have someone who believes in you, you feel like you like the vibe, I say go for it. What my manager, shout out to Entertainment Lab, will always tell me is the more hands in the pot, the better. Like the more people picking up the phone on Christine Horn's behalf, the better. Even if we happen to overlap, like, so be it. They're going to hear that name over and over again. So that's part one. I will speak candidly on part two, in that if they're saying it's not time due to your resume, and I haven't looked at your resume lately. Hold on, let me plug my computer in before it dies. Y'all know I'd be like, I'm going to just be on here for 15 minutes and then I'm going to get to cook dinner. Y'all know how I get. So if they're talking about your resume, you need to make sure that you have a nice amount of television credits on your resume. That's real talk. Like, this is not me like going back to, what was your name, sis? Cherie. Sheree or Cherie, I hope I'm not saying it wrong. Like, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy, like being like, it takes X amount of years. That, I don't believe in time. I believe time is an illusion. things take however long they're going to take. So that I don't believe in that. However, from my own personal experience, TV rules. And I know you, Trifina, want to do TV and film, and TV rules. And it's this thing, if you can build up, stack those credits in New York, to build up those credits in New York, because see, people forget, and I actually got reminded, you know, each what do you call it? Each demographic is loyal to their own. So I have a New York agent, and I can work local hire if need be. If my New York agent gets me something, but everything's very cliquish. So the New York shows, just like the Atlanta shows, just like the LA shows, are very cliquish. Like they want a local hire, right? And so LA knows their people. New York knows their people. I've been pinned for shows and on the verge of booking something, and then someone else from a New York local will book it. And I look at their resume, and everything they've done is in New York. Versus where if you look at my resume now, a lot of stuff is LA. Before I came to LA, a lot of it was Atlanta. So it's like, and I'm not even mad at that. Like I'm not mad at my local casting directors going to bat for the local actor who can do the job. Like, yeah, they're saving money on it too and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't even be sitting here without the credits that I started with in Atlanta. So I shout out every agent and every casting director in Atlanta that gave me a shot. So the same things in New York. So I'm saying, Trifina, you are at a place where you have built relationships with New York casting directors. And if you haven't built them yet to the degree that you would like to have built them, then maybe use this time, because I know you have a March deadline. Use this time to really build those and see if you can get some credits before you leave. Just because once you come here, unless that manager is in LA, and if they are, then this conversation switches still a little bit. Know that you'll have to just kind of start from scratch here. And you'll have to give the illusion that you are here. You have to give the illusion that you're here. And that takes trust too. Casting directors, they want to work with people who they know, like, and trust. And if they don't trust and know that you're here, that happened to me when I left Atlanta. Like, it took me a few months, even though I was booking stuff, there was still time. Like, there's still casting directors who booked the past 3 gigs I booked this month have been new casting directors. I've never read for them, and I ended up booking, but it's like they didn't know me. So people have to see like a string of credits that show that, oh, she's really here. Because so many people come to LA for a chunk of time and then they vanish, you know? So I hope that helped and hope that gave you some clarity. I just want to give you both sides of the coin, just from my personal experience. But again, if you feel cloudy that you didn't get a direct answer, I would just flat out ask, what do you mean by that? Can you expound? So we don't make it up. Stephanie says, I will probably have lots of questions soon. I'm producing my own content for the very first time. Woo, woo, go Stephanie. Yes, passion projects. Yeah, you'll be teaching people how to cast you, absolutely. Elisa says she has a good fly swatter. I wish I had the fly swatter here, Elisa, because it ain't gonna make it through the night. Oh gosh. Oh, Trifina says, yeah, the TV credits, I don't know what to do. I haven't booked any TV yet. I'm kind of at a loss. Just hang tight, Trifina. I'm going to end on you. Let me have a sip. I'm going to end on Trifina. First of all, for those of you who have watched this entire time, for those of you who will watch this later, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that you even trust me to ask me these questions. I'm grateful to be a support and a cheerleader for you. And I just don't want you to feel too frustrated. I want you to remember to be kind to yourself. And I also want you to, I want to end this live. I'm not going to take any more questions. I want to end this live on, I want you to just make room. Sometimes we're asking for things to come into our life that we haven't made room for, we haven't made space for. And so that may look different for each and every one of you. For some of you, it could be your day job, it could be your night job, it could be your Broadway gig, it could be relationships, it could be literal space in your apartment or in your home. So life is like a vacuum. Like, we have to take things out to make space for the new. And we have to make sure that our energy is always in alignment with what we say that we want, and then the energy that we then put out. And so it's like, if we say we want X, Y, and Z, we want TV credits, or we want film booking, or we want this, like, we have to make sure we're doing all the things that make sure that we stay in alignment with that. Excuse me. So speaking to Trafina specifically, but not just you, to Brian, to anyone who's listening, who, and I know from the Booking Magnet Academy that I teach, there are people in this flux as well. So I just want to speak to anyone who's listening who is in that slow season, a season that appears to be slow, because I know for a fact that a lot of things could be happening behind the scenes that we're not even aware of until bam, they're just in front of us. So I just know, Trafina, what I don't want for you is to have the frustration of leaving things behind, spending money, traveling long distance, leaving friends and family, and then feeling that frustration of, why am I not? Because I just know, like, that is what was the shift. And I don't care if it's 2 lines, I don't care if it's 1 line, whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, like, that will add up. Just having that on your IMDb will give you will just get you in the room. And so before I even got my first, TV credit, I did web series, I did anything to keep getting me on camera, because the more I was on camera in a quality way, not just a home video, right? No hate on cell phone videos, but in a quality video, the more I was able to use that to get into some more lower budget projects, or to web series that came out with some good footage that I was able to use on my reel, that kept upping my chances on getting seen for the TV gig. It's about each and every one of you being so clear what it is that you're offering to this community. Are you the FBI agent? Are you the doctor? Are you the serial killer? Are you the menacing guy? Are you the sexy vixen? Are you the girl next door? Are you the mom next door? Are you the serial killer mom next door? Like, being clear with who you are and what you're offering to the market, and serving it up with your footage, so that we're not trying to be everything. We talk about worrying about being typecast, and I say, throw that idea out the window. Get in the door, and then let the rest be a ripple effect. It only takes one. It's such a catch-22. I remember thinking when I left LA that first time, like, man, I need to book, I don't have no TV credits. I need to book a TV show to get in a TV show. Like, what? Huh? And it frustrated the hell out of me. But it finally happened. And I don't even know what the first TV credit I put, here's some real, because I need to go to Google. The first TV credit that landed on my resume was not even a speaking role. This goes back to Cherie, her question earlier. I'm trying to go to my IMDb. I want to say it was Young and the Restless. When I was out here, so Cherie, I'm not just making up stuff for you. This is what I did back in the day. I got my SAG credit. I got my SAG card, my eligibility, through a Mazda commercial. I booked a national Mazda commercial in 2002, just so you know. So don't sleep on commercials, is what I'm saying. So Cherie, you can try to get, do some more commercials. But it was the Young and the Restless. I'm looking my thing. And I was an FBI agent. Shocker, because that's what I'm still doing. And I had no lines, but I was in 2 episodes. And that was like a big deal. So yeah, everything before that was indie movies. And then, y'all see that? Why I Hate Bitsy Malone, underneath that was a web series I shot in LA. And then The Young and the Restless. And they only had me for 1 episode, but I did 2. And I had 0 lines. But just having Young and the Restless on my resume got me in another door. So what you may need to do, not just for you, Trafina, not just for you, Cherie, but if you're looking for that next thing, you may want to look into doing some extra work. I know a few of my clients who have hustled their way into an audition because they was church lady #2, honey, and they put church lady #2 in them on the IMDb. And yes, the industry knows it's a extra, but it's just something about an energy you're putting out there. So be open to everything. And I also did extra work, and I know extra background actor. I don't mean to disrespect that crap, just FYI. When I was doing it, I was an extra. But I remember doing it because I knew I was not going to end there. When I was here in LA the first time and had representation that never called me, and I was sitting in my apartment, living off my savings and unemployment, feeling depressed, missing my family, missing my man at the time, alone, lonely in Los Angeles, I would just do extra gigs, yeah, for the money, but I had savings before that dwindled away. But I was like, I need to know what this feels like so that when I get the call, I am ready. So I didn't do much extra work in town. I did Young and the Restless. I did Grey's Anatomy because I was like, I'm going to work with Shonda Rhimes one day. So I just want to be on the show and see what it feels like. I want to know what the pace is. I want to know how many cameras are there so that I can be ready. Because I'd never been on a television set before. How many of you have not been on a television set that actually want to do television? So that was how I started. Because my mind was blown when I did Young and the Restless, and there was like 80,000 cameras. I'm exaggerating, certainly. But I was like, it was so many cameras, and it was like 2 takes, and they moved on to the next scene. I was like, yo, you got to be on your lines on soap operas. Got it. So guess what? When I had my soap opera audition years later, I remembered, like, man, you got to be on it because you have no time. So we have to also stop thinking about just this right now and think about that bigger picture, what kind of work you want to do. So, I didn't want to be seen. Like, for when I did Grey's Anatomy, I was like, honey, put me in the back, put me way back. I don't want you to see me. My head could be to the back. I would purposely try to be like, don't see me, because I didn't want to ruin my chances of getting an actual audition because my face was recognized. So it just depends on where each of you are. But I knew that I needed to study the medium that I desired to be in. And I did that. I did Grey's Anatomy. I did a few other shows. One that Eric LaSalle had directed. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was so long ago. But I did like 4 or 5. Okay, Prince is barking, which tells me it is time to go. I hope that inspires you, and I hope that gives you some clarity, some hope. Don't feel too frustrated. I know it is frustrating, but just know that it will come. But everyone listening to me needs to be strategic. Whatever your next level is, get strategic on how you're going to get there, whether it's through relationship building, through immersing yourself in the medium, through doing extra work, whatever. Immerse yourself in the medium and be clear on what the vision is and hold tight to it, and know that no rules exist except the ones that you place on yourself. Okay? Nothing. Have an amazing night. This is Actors Daily Bread. Again, sending sweet love and peace to the Hightower family. Rest in peace, Teresa Hightower, our HBA member. Have an amazing night, and I'll see you next time.